Hello, party people.
What?
I kind of screwed up. Yesterday, I put out what was, to date, one of probably my top 5 favorite episodes of my show, Therapy. But it turns out that I screwed up. I basically kind of spread some not entirely factual information. I mean, as far as the statements I made about the whole Lizzo situation, like I still stand by it, but there are just like a couple of little things that I missed, honestly, just like in the most candid way, just omitted, not to like purposely misrepresent the situation. I seriously just didn't know. So we're just gonna go through what I missed and then move on. You know, we hold ourselves accountable here at Therapy Productions.
Boy, if you don't get...
So let's just talk about what I missed and then we'll just move on. With the amount of like time and energy and effort and editing that goes into this stuff, like, you know, we got to hold ourselves to the highest standard, you know what I mean?
Ooh. Hey.
We could all use therapy.
What?
Here is some free clarity.
Hey. Season 3.
So today we're going to be referring to an article in the New York Times written by a Michael Levinson. The title of the article is Lizzo Plays New Notes on James Madison's Crystal Flute from 1813. The first paragraph of this article says,
A classically trained flutist, the singer, rapper, and songwriter spent more than 3 hours admiring the flute collection at the Library of Congress. Madison's instrument was made for the second inauguration by a Parisian craftsman.
so right off the bat, for the record, the way that I framed the story yesterday when Steve and I talked about it was that they specifically brought this flute out of the Library of Congress so that Lizzo could play it. And the first time she laid hands on it, she decided to twerk with it. And that
Was a lie.
was just simply not true. Some would argue it's a lie. I would argue that
No, it's definitely a lie.
not everything that's not the truth is a lie.
Not everything that isn't true is a lie, Liam.
Hello?
So Michael Levinson of the New York Times, he continues,
Lizzo looked uncharacteristically nervous as she crossed the stage in a glittering mesh leotard with tights and sequin combat boots. A classically trained flutist who began playing when she was in 5th grade and considered studying at the Paris Conservatory.
so she didn't actually study at the Paris Conservatory. I'm not trying to like dunk on Lizzo here, but like I don't know if it's relevant to include that somebody considered studying at a place. Like she didn't study there, so whatever. Here I am critiquing this guy's article when I'm the one that was sharing fake news. Okay, back to his article.
She has woven flute into many of her songs. She's played virtually with the New York Philharmonic, and her flute, named Sasha Flute, even has its own Instagram page. But waiting for her on Tuesday night was an exquisite and highly breakable musical instrument that had arrived at her concert in Washington under heavy security, a crystal flute that a French craftsman and clockmaker had made for President James Madison in 1813. Quote, I'm scared, end quote, Lizzo said, as she took the sparkling instrument from Carol Lynn Ward Bamford, a curator at the Library of Congress who had carefully removed the flute from its customized protective case. Lizzo stated, quote, it's crystal. It's like playing out of a wine glass, end quote.
That's not exactly what she said. Here's actually what Lizzo said.
It's crystal. It's like playing out of a wine glass, bitch. So be patient.
Just wanted you guys to have the full quote, but the article continues.
As the crowd roared, Lizzo played a note, stuck out her tongue in amazement, and then played another note, trilling it as she twerked in front of thousands of cheering fans. She then carried the flute over her head, giving the crowd at Capital One Arena one last look before handing it back to Miss Ward Bamford.
This, of course, after she proudly proclaimed,
Bitch, I just twerked and played James Madison crystal flute from the 1800s.
I just feel like this is something that's important to share, like the actual raw clip, because in the article, the quote is,
I just twerked and played James Madison's crystal flute from the 1800s.
instead of, you know, her using the B word again, which, like, I don't care if people cuss, like, obviously. Bitch! I just think it's interesting how this New York Times article purposely, like, cuts certain words out to make it seem like Lizzo is just doing this very respectful, historically significant thing. And, like, they're kind of doing PR for her, you know what I mean? Instead of just like reporting what happened. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a journalistic snob, but whatever.
You're definitely being a journalistic snob.
Okay, so here's the main thing that I wanted to discuss that Steve and I initially missed when we were talking about this. the reason why this all came about, like where did this originate from? Basically, there's this woman, and her name is Carla D. Hayden. She's the first African American and first woman to lead the Library of Congress. The moment came together after Dr. Hayden asked Lizzo personally on this past Friday to visit the library's flute collection, the largest in the world, with about 1,700 of, these historic instruments. And she wrote Lizzo directly on Twitter saying, "We would love for you to come see it and even play a couple when you are in DC next week. Like your song, they are good as hell." So Lizzo responded on Twitter saying, "I'm coming, Carla, and I'm playing that crystal flute." So Lizzo pulls up on Monday, and her mother is with her, and some members of her band are with her. And Dr. Hayden, who works at the Library of Congress, they bring her into what's called the Flute Vault, and they give her a tour of the collection. So Lizzo's hanging out at this place for 3 hours. Like, she's actually, legitimately into the history, and all this stuff is cool. So she's looking at like fifes and piccolos and a flute shaped like a walking stick, and Lizzo was like, "Oh, I might want this as a Christmas present." Like, it's all chill. She hung out there for 3 hours. She played a bunch of different instruments, right? At one point, Lizzo's playing this other flute, and the flute's like 200 years old, kind of like the James Madison flute. There's this video, and I'm going to add a link in the description of this podcast, where Lizzo is playing this wind-like instrument. It's probably a flute, and it's wonderful. And the video on Twitter now has all of these likes and retweets, and people are drawn to it, but only because they saw the backlash from the more popular video of her playing a flute while twerking at her concert. And here, just listen to Lizzo. This is from the video that you can go see with the link in the description. But this is Lizzo playing not at the concert, just in the Library of Congress, okay? Okay, so with this in mind, it certainly changes things. If you watch the video, you'll see Lizzo has all of her clothes on. This is the day she pulled up with her mom, by the way. And she's playing the flute for almost a minute instead of just busting a note or two and, jiggling a boom.
What, mate?
I made a mistake initially by saying in the last episode that the clip I reacted to wasn't at her concert, because it clearly was. I also didn't mention how this all came to be. There was correspondence between her and a woman of significance, a woman of color, at the Library of Congress. And these things matter. The context matters. Lizzo kicking it for hours to admire the instruments, the art, it matters. But Lizzo doesn't share any of that on her Twitter. In fact, she shared a tweet of her on the 28th with the caption,
"Library of Congress. Hey Lizzo, this is a priceless heirloom and we've never heard it played before. Me." And it's a video of her twerking while playing it.
And it was the same day that she went to visit, and she was just playing for a full minute uninterrupted. So Lizzo's plan from the jump was to take this precious piece of history and twerk with it at her show. And hey, good for her. Bet it's... But I just want you all to have the full picture. She comes out to her show, cheeks out.
What do you mean by that?
Shaking and playing, saying,
It's crystal. It's like playing out of a wine glass, bitch. Bitch, I just twerked and played James Madison.
And I still stand by what I said. I don't think it's a great look for us. But, like Steve said, you don't pull up to a circus and don't expect clownery. It's not for me. It's her show. You can't just switch on Powerpuff Girls as a grown man and be like, "Man, the show is weak. It's not my vibe." Well, duh, stupid. It wasn't made for you, and you're not the desired audience. So shut up. And in the future, I'll do better to research this stuff more before talking about it. We were trying to fire through a bunch of different topics at once. So, some stuff slips through the cracks, but you deserve better. And me as a pseudo journalist, should be doing better. Last thing I want to say, though, I just think it's funny how Lizzo drops this tweet at 1 a.m. on the 28th. Like,
Bitch, I twerk with the flute.
lets everyone sit with it. Like, lets everybody react, right? Like, good and bad, whatever. Maybe she doesn't care at all, which is great. Good for her. Then a whole day later, boom, all of a sudden a video drops where they have this 45-second uninterrupted clip of her very calmly and respectfully and, like, very, like, impressively playing this flute. Like, it's just not, like, it's not slick at all. Like, it almost feels like revisionist history. They're like,
See? Look, she's an artist. She appreciates history. She's not just some rapscallion desecrating beloved American history.
and like, look, man, like, okay, like, it's fine, whatever. I just wish that if it was supposed to be this important, significant, historic thing, maybe Lizzo takes like a minute to really talk about like the purpose of it instead of, what we got from her, which is like,
Look at me,
anyways, who cares?
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
We don't care.
I'm done talking about it. I can't believe 2 back-to-back episodes of the show exist where I'm talking about Lizzo at length. No offense, but whatever. It's over. Lizzo, sorry, kind of, whatever. She's not going to hear this. Do you, Lizzo, Godspeed. And to those listening, love you, mean it, and see you in a bit. Here's one of my favorite songs.
Guess who? It's your favorite self-obsessed narcissist. Scratch that, something like a self-proclaimed arsonist. Yeah, he got that fucking fire, so he's sparking up. You barking up the fucking wrong tree if you calling him out.
Bing bong. Fuck your life. Ops all scared like I snuck a knife. I'm light skinned till you cut the light. Career B student, I'm somewhat bright. Loose with the diet with the bars, I'm tight. And y'all feel left out like I just turned right. And that's weak as hell, but I'm cool as Mike like Tyson. Jackson? He rapping like someone said last day on earth. Keep it 100, but he don't play turf. This year he swimming, but he never surf. Cause he love these white people, but he won't partake. He is just happy he got a fair shake. Babe said lose weight, but got wrong kind of shake. He need the protein, but he got the Oreo. Boo-hoo, he going home, but you don't want the smoke. That is cool, but I'm the teacher. Looking at my girl crazy, but you want a t-shirt. No, I'm talking crazy like I sleep with a 9. Lover, not a fighter, but you can't mess with mine. Out of my element, avatar. Better stop asking if I'm busy, I get mad at y'all. Y'all don't even have a car. Why you talking rap if you never even had a bar? Now we pop off and that's no cap. And I'm bass backwards like Snow Black. And I won't explain, but I make the rules. Cause it's my show, I'm the guru. And who knew he go this hard?